Hi guys, Andre here. So I decided to make this video because a lot of you actually asked me about what gear am I using. So here are my thoughts about the gear. Gear is cool, man. Everyone likes gear, man. And I'm guilty of that too. But nowadays, I have to tell you, man, I'm not using a lot of gear and not expensive gear at all. And actually, I want to show you this little tune I made for a promotional video for Yamaha. And I want to show you the gear I used to make that little tune and how it came out because it was a really inexpensive audio interface and just a computer. So have a listen. It's like a 1 minute tune, and then I want to show you the session, the recording session and the mixing session. So enjoy it. So first thing, let me just tell you this, full disclaimer, there's no relation between me and the Solid State Logic people. I just happened to have it here. Actually it was a trade with a guitarist. I traded a guitar pedal for this, so it happens to be the Solid State Logic. But it could be a Focusrite or Audient or any other for this price range. Full disclaimer too, in my defense and in defense of the Solid State Logic too, I kinda did wrote the song, record the song, and mix the song, everything in the same day. Which just means that it probably could sound much better because I'm definitely not a guitar hero, neither a mixing hero. So anyway, let me just show you what I have in my desk so you guys can see what I use. So there you go, guys. This is my desk. And as you can see, what I have here, now I have this Focusrite here that cost me like maybe or probably 1,000 euros, but I didn't use it. I used this SSL with my Mac Mini, which is the new M1, which is really cool. Now I did use the Fractal, which is a really cool modeler. It sounds really good for guitars and bass. And that's it, man. That's what I've been using nowadays. Focusrite, focal monitors, and a computer. That's all. So I guess that my point here is that you kind of don't need expensive gear. Now, sure, I will be buying a new audio interface very soon. I'm kind of indecisive between the Apogee Symphony desktop and the Universal Audio Twin Apollo, because I want something for desktop and I don't need a lot of preamps, because when I have to record some band, I usually go to another studio. But I have to tell you, man, as you just saw, that's what I use, an SSL at 180 euros audio interface. Now, is there any difference between the Focusrite and the SSL? Of course there is, especially in the playback system, the digital to analog converters. You will notice, because if you're used to hear your songs, your mixes, your masters through really fancy audio interfaces, converters, whatever you're using, you will definitely hear the difference. And there's a big difference. The stereo image is different, the quality is different, everything is different. But still, I think that if you know what you're doing, and that's the part that I really want to focus here. If you practice a lot mixing if you record and mix and record and mix and record and mix over and over and learn and try and error. Eventually you will get to the point that you can make the sound that you have in your head. I think that's the whole point of this video. You need to practice. Man, I wish I have 1 single euro for every hour that I spend in front of my computer all these years. I will be rich, man. I will be rich. Anyway, let me show you the recording session and the mixing session. So, okay guys, here is the session, the recording session and editing session. I usually track and do the editing stuff on Cubase because I've been using Cubase for forever. And I mix in Logic. So here's how it sounds, the recording session. You know, it's sounding really good. I think that everyone knows now that if you get a good recording sound, the mix is gonna be easy. So let's compare it. Now, I know the drums are programmed, but come on, man, this is a demo. And you know what? I wish I could tell you, man, how many really well-known bands, especially in this kind of heavy music genre, bands that you hear like every day, probably, the drums are programmed, the guitars are amp sims, some of them with Line 6 pod farm, which I don't even know how many years it has. But that's the thing today. We can program drums. And if you ask me, man, there's nothing wrong with programmed drums. I think that the most important thing in the end of the day is if the song sounds good, if you can pass to the person that are hearing the song all the emotion and all the feeling that you want, there's nothing wrong with programmed drums and amp sims and whatever. But yeah, this is the session. And as you can see, everything was tracked through the SSL tool. The drums are programmed and then I mix it. And it's not my best job, but it kind of sounds good, man. So yeah. And so my friends, that's it. I will love to hear from you. What do you think about gear, the importance of the gear to the end result? You know, whatever you want to write in the comment section, just do it. So I guess I see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.